Hello and welcome to my birthday celebration stream. I have three of my favorite people here with me to celebrate. We're not doing anything in particular. We're just talking crap, hanging out, and just having a good time, enjoying each other's company. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. I appreciate you. How is everybody doing today on this joyous occasion?
Yeah. I feel great because it was a joyous day here. It was sunny and about 65 degrees, 65, 67. And it feels like a little warmer because spring is coming in. So, yes, indeed, joyous day.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in Ohio and it is 52 degrees here in February. That never happens. That should tell you that global warming is real. I don't know what will. Like
Yeah.
for it to be 52 degrees on my birthday, when usually we're either buried in snow or it is like negative 15 degrees. Like February is the worst month that if you want to do anything or go out to do anything, you can't. So I'm very excited about this and yet mortified at the same time because I'm like, why is it 52 degrees in February? It's not right. Not in Ohio. It just ain't right.
Well, just because you don't be mad because the universe decided to smile and bestow its blessings and glory upon you this day.
Yes.
And you gonna sit there and complain about it. Ungrateful.
No, I am
just for you.
The fact that I'm wearing this dress here, yes, I'm very grateful and celebratory. Yes, but maybe the word is paranoid.
Why?
I don't know.
Let loose, let go, enjoy it. Do not put apprehension on a good day.
Okay.
Then you missed out on all the stuff that was there for you.
Yep. Indeed.
You are right.
You know, just if you look up, close your eyes because you know if like money starts dropping, you don't want to get your cornea cut.
Pennies from heaven.
There you go. They hurt.
Except pennies not.
From heaven hurt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That was my first and last day on the pole. When I start getting hit with quarters, it's time to go.
Oh no, Johnny, they didn't throw quarters. Oh no.
I mean, at least they wasn't dying, so count the blessing.
They wasn't asking for change, was it?
Count the blessing. Right. Four quarters make $1. $5 make $5.
Oh my gosh.
America says working. You know, legal. Once the work ain't easy, but it pays the bills or something like that.
Yeah.
I walked out with $13.
I know that's right. Yeah. Look.
Shoot, at least you can work it. I can't even climb the poles.
I mean, that's probably why I got the quarter.
Flip upside down and fall on my head.
I remember when we would be taking gym, and there were those exercises where you had to climb up the rope. Have you ever? Oh. Yeah, well, you have to jump.
I couldn't do it.
To get the end of the rope, and then you have to look. I failed every time because it just was not my thing. It was like I cannot climb this wiggly.
They must have not gotten us.
You can scurry up and down. It's like lovely, but not me.
I never had to do that. They never gave us the rope.
We had the chin up bar and all that. I mean, I failed gym because my parents wouldn't sending me to school with 2 pairs of clothes. So if you didn't dress out or you didn't wear shorts or sweats or track pants and special shoes and
exactly.
You mean I got to go to the store for school clothes and gym clothes? What?
Yes, we had
no 50 minutes of class.
Yeah, uniform. And my gym teacher tried to flunk me because I knew she was on the DL and shit. I remember her name too. You know, I remember her name. and I could not stand her. And it was like my senior year, you're getting your last grades, and she wanted to try to hold me back because I didn't appear to be enjoying gym.
Because it
And
sucks.
it was like I was not. It was not my enjoyment, but did I not do what was required? So, of course, I had a mother who straightened it all out, but I saw that heifer. I saw her real good. And I
Ah,
could tell the one she really liked too, you know.
I ain't a gym person. I like fat back and hamburgers. So
You
I
see,
was, I was never a gym person. Excuse me.
oh,
I loved
please
the gym
no.
when I was a kid. It was pretty fun to me, even though I was not an athletic kid. So I would not, weren't going to catch me in extracurricular activities. Uh, the only time I was active was in gym class. That was it. And
Yeah.
well, I was in I was on the basketball team in 5th grade.
I did
So
like soccer though. I was really good at that.
were you?
I
Yes.
basketball.
No, soccer. Basketball was the worst for me because I couldn't dribble and run at the same time. And so I can bounce the ball, but if you want me to move, then we're gonna have
Right.
to do one or the other. Either I can carry it or I can bounce it, but I can't do both. And so
I
every time I try to run, I kick it. And then because then nobody tell you where to bounce it. I'm right-handed, so I'm bouncing this way. And so as soon as I get to run, boom, I kick the ball. Now I'm playing soccer again. Like just no, but I'm gonna sit this one out. That's
listen. I didn't like gym.
No.
I didn't anything that required running, and of course we had to run laps around the gym. Like at
Mhm.
the end of each session, it was several laps around the gym. I wanted to go somewhere and sit in a corner and sing. I was not trying to run up and down a basket. I'd be a cheerleader. I didn't want to run up and down the
I
basketball.
didn't mind the running part because I didn't have boobs at the time. But once I
Well,
get to
it's
high
different
school
when you have
and
boobs.
I was a straight up tomboy, so I love gym class. I love
You,
gym class. I
I
love
love
softball.
gym.
I love football. I love basketball. If it had a ball, except for a balls on boys, if it had a ball, I love
you ain't gonna do that.
oh
I'm
my
gonna have
goodness.
to take a sip for that one right there.
Oh yes, I brought a libation along. Happy birthday to
Mm.
you.
mm,
Yeah.
Salud.
salute.
What was we talking about for Tanya derailed the conversation?
Sorry.
We wasn't talking about none of that gay shit.
We were talking about gym and
Yes,
gym
that's what we were
class
talking about.
and who was active and who was, star of gym class, Tanya, obviously. Only time I was active, like I said, was in gym class. But I did look forward to it. I had a lot of fun. Um, I remember an interesting story about gym when I went to high school. I didn't
Mhm.
take gym my first 2 years, so ninth and 10th grade, but I heard stories about the gym teacher at the time. Fast forward, he was creepy as hell, and he was hitting on all the girls.
I was too.
Yeah,
And
that guy.
that guy, yeah, creepy gym teacher, that guy. And I remember one day because I usually took the bus home. And so either I missed the bus, my parents had to come get me, or, I had to stay longer for whatever reason. So I'm waiting at the door, waiting for my parents to come pick me up. The gym teacher walks up to me and says, "Oh, hi. I've never seen you in gym before. I'm like, yeah, I didn't get assigned gym. I don't have gym class." It's like, yeah, you should really be in gym class.
Oh
You
no.
you should. I'm like, No, I don't think I do. I don't think I do. So that was an interesting, and I actually transferred back because I went back with my grandparents, and I ended up going to a Catholic school and had a completely different. This gym teacher was a lesbian. We all knew she was a lesbian. You would never say it was a Catholic school, so you would never say it was, but she was a lesbian.
But yeah,
we knew what the deal was.
she used to want us to come out of the shower and stand in front of her, and I finally asked her for what? You know, we take showers, we soap up, we get out. What are you inspecting? No, I don't feel like I want to get out the shower and stand in front of your ass. Come on now.
It's just crazy looking back on, just reflecting on your life and reflecting on what you've been through and how things were and how they were just kind of normal, or you didn't connect it because you were too young. Because I specifically remember being in 9th grade, and my 9th grade friend, who had to be 14 at the time, 14, 15, whatever, was talking about her 21-year-old boyfriend. And you would always have guys who were older hanging around high schools, i.e. R. Kelly, just hanging around there.
Robert.
No, it's just insane to me to be like, even back then, I'm like, how old is he? 20. And he's okay. She's like, oh yeah, he's coming to pick me up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, girl.
I mean, I worked with he was my age. So he was 35 at the time. And she was 17, but he knew her since she was a kid. And her mom, I mean, they fine with it because they know him. And, you know, and I pay. If that's your get down with it. If all them people, everybody, it ain't like everybody know. So everybody know each other. Everybody like each other. Then y'all go right ahead. I found it a bit strange because you couldn't find somebody your own age, but
I didn't connect it I just knew that I did not like that person. You know what I mean? I just didn't want them near me, and maybe that was my instincts feeling that creep vibe, and it's now, I mean, and when I get older, and especially with all of these stories about teachers and trainers and now it's like, oh yeah, that's been there all the time. I just didn't
see, I never liked anybody my own age. I always wanted somebody older than me. So that,
yeah.
I'd have probably been down on the whole stroll. So that was me.
One of my that's exactly where I'd end up. I don't know what I hated that pale. I went to school in Nevada. They don't like Nevada. You got to call it Nevada. I was born there. And we had some of now that I think about these teachers, they were the most white, racist motherfuckers. Just trying to be stealth with that shit. Like you're not supposed to know that's what it is. And
it's in the desert. You got to like dark people in the desert. Come on.
Yeah. And it was just, I remember some of the teachers, and I particularly remembered the male teachers, and I know their names. Like, why would I remember these cats? I remember my first grade teacher's name was Roberta Smith, and I really liked her. She was a good teacher, and I felt as if she was warm and caring. Tanya, you're quiet.
Hello, Tanya.
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Oh man.
We don't talk about what are you going to do for your birthday?
Well, I don't know yet.
What did you do? Because what time is it for you? 6 o'clock?
It is. Let me see. It's 7:15.
So what have you done for your birthday? Because day is gone
Work.
right here. So,
I've worked.
oh, yeah.
I've worked, and then I came home,
Real
and
life comes first.
uh and but it was really nice because everybody wished me a happy birthday, and everybody was real sweet to me.
Mhm.
They seemed excited and really happy for me, so it was really nice.
That's
Uh,
good.
some of
Yeah.
my coworkers got me some gifts, which were just, of course, candy and snacks, which was fine
Of
for
course.
me.
Of
You didn't have
course.
to give me anything, but the fact you got me some snacks, thank you, because that's all I do is snack at work anyway. So I'm like, yes, thank you.
You know, I've never been a birthday person ever. Even when I was a kid, I didn't care about it. But I like when other people celebrate their birth because it's about you. I mean,
Hmm.
it's nice to be a little self-centered once in a while. Have something be about me.
Once in a while,
It's
yes.
necessary.
Self-care too.
It's absolutely necessary.
Anything where you get together and celebrate with other people, I love. That's like my
Yeah.
thing. Whether it's Halloween, Christmas, well, Halloween especially, because that's my bag. I love Halloween. If I could celebrate Halloween every day, I would. But uh your birthdays where people get together with the people you care about, like just
Mhm.
anything like that. I just love the
Yes.
commune of people, and especially people who you care about and you have a connection with, and you can just spend time together
Yeah.
and laugh and have a good time you know forget about all that other BS that's going on in the world.
At
It's
least,
about us.
Being festive. I like that. I love it.
at
So,
least for one day,
Thank
yeah,
you,
put the
Sharon.
world on
Thank
pause.
you.
try to be, celebrate yourself at least a half an hour to an hour a day. But birthdays to me are special. I just love, like you, I like celebrating other people's birthdays with them. I if I'm invited to the party, then it's an honor, for that you want me there. And today is one of my Calabasas niece's birthday. She's a grown woman, and I was thinking of her when she was 5 or 6, and a chubby little wonderful spirit. And now she's an adult. She's a whole woman. She's a whole woman, and she's done some wonderful things. She's pursuing her acting career. She's been in. I think she was in a couple of Marvel movies or something. Um, and she's just driven and determined and knowledgeable, very very articulate, and she works hard. So if she's doing a production, she knows how to do it from the very beginning, from whatever the very first concept of the idea. She knows how to build it so that it can become a film or a play. I'm so proud of her, so proud of her. So,
Sometimes I think on the younger generation, a lot of my nieces and stuff, and then I think, how did you get to be 30 years old already?
yeah,
Well, did I age 30 years since you've been born? Really, I have.
right.
That's where all
Yes,
these white prickly hairs are coming from.
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
take it. Everybody can't age, I guess. Some people don't make it, so I guess I'll be
Well,
grateful for anything you have and everything you don't. I say so.
speaking of age, I told a bold-faced lie to Tanya. She asked me my age, and I lied about my age only because, girl, I was like, she asked me, "How old are you?" She said, 52. I really am 57. I'm knocking on 60's door.
It's a
And
good
I said it out loud. And at first I thought, with it's aging is has so many components. I mean, most of all, I have bones that creak and ache, and so I said I'm gonna confess. So I did confess, but I thought it's because you intuitively knew anyway, Tanya, that this shit is lying. This shit is lying. Yeah,
Laugh
I love.
excited.
I really do feel. I think I know more than I feel it that you are actually as old if you as you really feel, because it's a feeling, and if you absorb a feeling of, I feel so for people who feel useless or unwanted or no one's paying attention, or and so they don't, their lives on what they used to be, so that they kind of wither. But just keep busy, and it's at this age that you can really understand your dream and understand the drive, understand what it is, what you're supposed to be doing about it. No matter how your fat ass may feel that day, you need to get up and take care of some things, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it now. I mean,
Because some people don't realize when they actually put the cork in their own imagination and the things that they want to do, not need to do, you're
yeah,
going to have to do the things you need to do anyway
yeah,
because life ain't free. And so you're going to have to do those things. But what do you want to do? Do you want to climb this tree? Climb the damn thing. As long as it's in your yard, do it. What do you want to do? Do you want to paint? Do you want to write? Do you want to sing? What do you want to do? And that's at any age. People
yeah,
stifle their imagination, their creativity, their wants because life says this is what you have to do first. And then you get up at 6 a.m., you go do that thing first. And then by 3 p.m., it's like, you know what, I'm tired. And then eventually life becomes routine and the things you want to do, you never do. And
yeah.
then you
They
get to be,
become hobbies almost sometimes.
you know, then you get to be 57 years old. And then you say, I wish I would have done when I had the energy to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm 57. That's me in 6 weeks.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
excited
right. Your
AF.
birthday is coming
I
up.
am excited AF.
Yes.
57, shoot, this is my best year yet.
And I
But
sent
you are
you,
also one of them people who are, you're creative. You fulfill the
yeah,
things you want to do, or at
But the
least
yeah,
whole
some of
thing
them.
is, I've done a whole lot of stuff, but it's like when you go through your life unconscious, things happen. And I'm
Mhm.
one of those people that things just happen to. Now, I wrote books. I put effort into that. But that was so long ago and it was 1 second of a lifetime. So
mm,
it's like a whole bunch of little things seem like a great big thing when you speak it out loud, but
right.
that's over 50 something years. I mean, all of us have climbed Mount Everest. Every single one of us. Every single one of us has swam to the depths of the bottom of the sea because we have
Yes.
been through every emotion, every from love to hate to disappointment to
Heartbreak, all of
getting
that.
to getting to this
Yes.
special age that Tia is right now. And I said I wasn't gonna because I don't know
How
enough
old
about
are
it,
you
but I'm
today
gonna
anyway,
do it.
Tia?
Hold on a second, Jace. For Tia's 33rd birthday, this is her Masonic Mason
Oh,
number
wow.
birthday, how many vertebrae you have in your spine, the number that Jesus was when he
Yes.
died and arose. This is the most special,
Yes.
magical number 33. Enjoy this. Don't
Yes.
let nobody talk you out of nothing. You grab the brass ring. You don't say I can't. You say I will. Okay? Not I
Yes.
can, but
Yes.
can. Say I will.
Mm.
Okay? Or say
Yes.
it's done.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Tanya, you just preached a sermon, girl.
Oh, she does.
Yes. Indeed.
And I just,
Open to that.
since it is my 33rd birthday, and I guess I would like to share a little bit, be a little vulnerable about my birth. Um, so, scene February 7th, 1990. My mother, who had her struggles, this was the 90s, 80s crack era. It affected many families, many black families.
Yes,
We all know what went
yes,
down, what happened, and
yes.
my family was one of them. So they had to keep me in the hospital for about a week because just to see if it was in her system, to see if it was in my system. I think it was like 3 days to a week, but I had to stay in the hospital longer just so they could check me, to make sure that I was okay. And I came out fine. And I made it despite everything that has happened since. I have wonderful people who took care of me, who have
Hmm.
raised me. I have wonderful people who I have met. You three are one, three of those people. Um, I don't happen to think it was a coincidence that I met Tanya, who has the exact same name as my actual birth mother.
Oh,
I don't
yes.
think that's a
Special.
coincidence.
The
And,
lady with the heart right here.
and
Mhm.
even though I didn't get a happy birthday from my own biological mother, I got a happy birthday from Tanya. She was one of the first people to call me. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
okay.
just want to say thank you.
Yes.
Okay, because that
Indeed.
means a lot to me.
Yes.
You guys mean a lot to me. Just I barely have, the little bit that I have, the subscribers that I have gained, the little bit. I'm appreciative of everybody, but the fact that you all took time just to spend a little time with me,
Oh,
it just
yes.
means a lot. So I just want to say thank you,
Wow.
Tanya, thank you, Jace,
Wow.
thank you, Johnny, for
Wow.
being here and for sharing this day with me. Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah,
Be
it's my
here another
pleasure.
day 'cause
Absolutely.
I'm glad you accepted and bring it in because you're a special person too. Like
Yes.
there's 50, 11 people on YouTube, and I like maybe 10 of y'all. So we're it's,
And
we're
he's not lying
Ooh,
about that. I just
oh my goodness. Oh my, I feel real special. And that's the same for you, Johnny. I have broke up with so many other readers.
because you know how it is.
wow.
You didn't see the pool already, so
Mm,
and so when you find somebody, especially if you connect in any kind of way that is positive, it's like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we be here? You ask me here, and I don't do collaborations anymore because people got on my nerves, and so it's like
Well, you
I'm
made
here.
the announcement and you were so damn catty about it. You said, I think it was Becca or somebody said, Johnny, what's on your calendar? You said nothing.
Nothing.
And if you're looking for a collaboration, don't contact me because I can't help you. It's like,
Can't do it no more.
well, you just
Three weird people back
gotta,
to back, and two of them lying
yeah,
at the same
yeah, I'm
time. I'm like,
sure.
you know what? I'm done with all of this.
Well, it's because
Mhm.
Johnny, I know that I have always said you are a prophet. I mean, I recognized it right away. And I've been riding with you since your hands, okay? We were all waiting for the unveiling. You had beautiful hands. And I love the way you handle the cards. So it was like a pleasure to hear you talk and handle the cards alone. Yeah. So when you finally made an appearance, it's like, wow, I thought he looks sort of like I thought he'd look. And I love the reading because I'm gonna tell you something I don't know. I will be the first one to say I don't know anything. I really, well, I look at these cards and I love them, and I just see what I see in them. So I don't know if it's right, wrong, or whatever, but there are certain people who can tell a story and bring a message for real, like, you feel that thing in your stomach. I go back and look at Johnny's older videos, and when I say you can take it to the bank,
Well, see, that's because, okay, let me correct you though. You do know something. I just been doing it longer than you. That's all. That's the only difference. The same God knows me, knows you, knows Tia, knows Tanya. Same one. We
I
draw
think,
from the same
well, I'm
source.
speaking in terms of Terrell. There was a time when I actually was very good at it. I enjoyed it. And
Good.
then I got waylaid by Christianity or the church people or the Pentecostals or the,
Touch three people and say,
yeah, church
Mhm.
folk. And it's damn, y'all made me,
but use it every day.
oh,
Pick it up, look at it. Do a read. Do a small read. Do a read for yourself. Pull two cards, match them together.
no, I'm
And
not
you just
good
got
at
to
that.
keep
I
doing it.
let
That's all.
somebody else read for me. I'm not good at reading for myself. That I do know because I'm
That's some
too
bullshit.
involved. I'm too emotionally attached.
Mhm. I'm not a human, so that's why I can do it.
I
So
know you are. Now I knew you weren't, or at least
I
we on this
I
planet.
knew it.
I recognize you
I knew it.
as,
though.
as, as the song says, maybe I'm an alien. Earth is hard.
Well, maybe.
So
I'm also an alien, and I can
Now
confirm.
see, now see, Johnny, I'm gonna be mad at you now because I called your alien ass out once,
I am
and
not.
you
I do
said
not
no.
believe in aliens.
Yeah.
I do not believe in aliens. But
Hmm.
I will say, I don't have regular human emotions. That's why I say,
Mm.
I think so. I can read for myself because I'm probably the Gemini thing too. Because I'm 50, 11 people in here, and
Yeah,
so
Oh,
one of us
that's
can
you
stand
have
out
right.
here
flash
There
mobs
you
and need
go.
to
going
read
on
it.
every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So one of us can be a distant, unattached, and do the reading. And but
Mhm.
if I am emotional of any kind, I can't read for nobody
Well,
because it
you
is.
do read, but you read. It's a whole nother different level of read. You know,
This is
yeah,
true.
when you went, I could tell when you reading. So
Oh,
Impassioned.
goodness.
yes, you do
But
read, honey, and it's always good too. It's like, yeah, don't, yes.
and I like this, Tanya. I meant to tell you in the comments. I like that
She
too.
looks beautiful,
Thank
doesn't
You
I miss your hat
beautiful.
too because
Yes.
I'm a creature of habit,
she?
so I still
Beautiful.
miss your hat too
Isn't
for whatever reason. But I like this too.
Well, and I don't want to take away, but this was just taking the hat off
Yeah.
on Tea Time with Tanya was, to me, that was my Everest.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought too. But I mean, I didn't want to be all, you know, assuming.
Oh,
But
no, it's okay, and the crazy thing is, I just finished watching Wakanda Forever.
Ah,
It came out today, y'all. Go to Walmart
yeah.
and buy it.
Gotta.
So I just finished watching that, and it's just for so many of us Black women. I mean, there are so many of us that have all different types of alopecia. We've got been snatched ball from wearing braids.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
just and then we have been, I mean, the relaxers and the coloring
Mhm.
and we have damaged our heads to where we have a whole generation, 3 or 4 generations of living Black women that their husbands have never seen their head.
Mhm.
Mine is too. It's too.
We
Yeah.
have a whole
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
of women who still won't let their mate, boyfriend, anybody,
See this.
just
Yeah.
run their fingers through their hair.
Yep.
And this
That's
is a
right.
shame on us that we have got to break. And if I can just show my bald head and one person feel like they don't have to hide or don't have to wear something that is uncomfortable for them, or they don't have to pretend to fit into some mold, then Everything in the world is gravy. I
Yeah.
I happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
'Cause this was my Everest, just to accept my own doggone top of my skull. You know,
Yes, and the
Mhm.
color, your color tonight, your colors
It's
are really
beautiful.
pretty tonight. They really are pretty. And I told you before we started that I thought, wow, you look really glowing. It's like glowing today.
Mhm.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you have a inner light, so you're always going to be pretty anyway. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, you do have a nice face too, mind you, but you're still going to
Yeah.
be pretty anyway. And you don't have a weird shaped head where you got a lump back here. So,
That's right.
that
That's
y'all can
right.
see.
because mine got a scoop in the back. So, it's,
that's that's extra brains or
but,
something
That is,
on
it
his
is,
face.
it
but
is.
I like this though. I like it.
Yes, you
It's
look
Yes,
awesome.
Yeah.
we love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do
Hmm.
you have a particular headpiece that you or halo or headpiece that you like to wear? Is there do you have a particular choice of like say beads or fabric or
I bought two of them. I bought a gold one and a silver one, and I like them both. Except
uh,
for the gold one, I have to change my necklace. And if anybody out there noticed, I changed that too. I took another of my
Mhm.
what do you call it? My security blankets off
mm-hmm.
and went back to this. This is what I used to wear when I worked in the prison. I wore my little Superman.
Ah!
This was it, and I mean this was my persona, and this is I think what I wrap myself in, and it's like all right,
Mhm.
it's time to bring back out the cape. It's time for the cape. It's time for the cape.
Indeed.
That's
Yes.
right.
The T, how did you get into tarot?
Pandemic. Pandemic, and I started watching those, random pick a card readings, and went down the rabbit hole in that, and then it connected me to like reviewers, so people who review tarot cards, which was cool.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And for a minute I kind of was like circling the rim of tarot without diving into it yet. That describes my life. Just like, do I want to? I don't know. And then finally, I just jumped in there. But yeah, I'm like, well, I might as well pick it up and see what I can do. I think one of the readings said that I should get into it or something like that. Oh, okay, sure, fine. Well, let's see. And I always loved like symbology ever since I was a kid. Like I used to write what people would call sigils. I didn't know they were sigils at the time. I was just writing, words in weird ways, and I had no idea. I was the kid that was drawing the different planets and being like, "Come get me." I was like, "Get me out of here." I was that kid. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
and I had an astrology. Like I went to one of those book fairs in like fifth, sixth grade, and I picked up an astrology book, and I was just looking all through it. The combinations and who I'm supposed to vibe with as an Aquarius and all that stuff. Because I always loved planets. I loved everything about aliens. Since I was like 6, 7. I was the kid watching X Files.
Mm.
With Mulder and Scully.
Yes.
Every episode.
Those the thousands of documentaries that would come on Discovery Channel about Roswell, and the Blue
My
Book
favorite was
Project,
Alien.
and classified, extra declassified files. Yeah, I was that kid. And I also was the kid who would sit there and watch Laverne and Shirley, and every sitcom there was to man, I would watch. I love Lucy and Enjoy, by the way, because the people that raised me were older. So I would get into, Gilligan's Island, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, I Love Lucy,
Good
Laverne
TV.
Taxi.
Oh,
I
I
can
love
just go
Yes.
on and on. I was the weird kid that liked Frasier. Now, what
I love Crazy.
woman child would sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I like Frasier.
I
It's
love
pretty
Crazy.
funny. My people, bring it in. My people."
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
like anything old though, so I'm an old soul. I've always been, but I like anything because, mind you, nothing in the world is new anymore.
Right.
So usually the stuff that we do now is based upon something back then, and so I like to look back then. And only thing I will say is I'm a bit of a graphic snob, and so if something is too old graphic wise, then I can't. Like the old Superman movies. I can't do it. I can't.
Man,
I can watch Godzilla to a point. When he's walking around and the buildings are cardboard.
Yeah. Like, yeah, those stories. And they were Japanese. And you can, yeah.
I still like it, but at the same time, I'm thinking they couldn't find nothing else.
So let me ask you this, Johnny. Do you like bad movies? Like, remember those movies that would come on the
Only if.
Sci-Fi Channel that would have the horrible graphics?
Yes.
Oh, they were great. Oh, they were great.
Okay, so here's what I used to do back in the day. There was a friend I had, and he's just as messy as I was. So it's like you got these two big queens on the phone, basically, just reading everything. So what we would do is watch the TV, put it on mute, and then talk about everything we see in back. And we would especially do that with the Home Shopping Network. And so we would sit there and make fun of everything they doing. Yes, so yes, to answer your question, I like them from the comedic standpoint, not to like seriously dissect the film type
Of
thing.
course.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Like movies.
I love the old. They had this guy named Sven Gooley who would play these old, really bad science fiction movies. I mean, you could see the thread, the fish line that the spaceship is crawling. It's just crawling by.
You think? I mean, I know it was the whatever, but yeah.
Talk about low budget. Okay?
But we used to call them stupid movies on USA. Remember those Friday night movies? They were the B-est B movies.
Yes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the 50-foot woman.
Where did the term B movie come from? Because if you got an A-list movie, you can't be B. You got to be at least Z.
Some of that you might be further on down the line. I mean, I don't know if B is cutting it here.
Really, some of them was so bad that they just didn't have a rating. It was
Oh,
just a bad movie.
just awful. I would love the awful knockoffs.
Mhm.
Those were my favorite because they have them on Amazon to where they have a Jurassic Park knockoff. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's so good. I was like, this
Do you
is
remember the Friday the
awful.
13th series?
Oh, I loved Friday.
Oh.
The Friday,
Friday
until they
13th.
put
me
up
over.
ratings and then
That's
it
with
sucked.
Jason, right?
Yeah.
See, those kind of movies like the Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street and those things where you can obviously see through everything they're doing, I still like it. Because those are such
I was a Freddy fan. I loved Nightmare.
Freddie was great.
Mhm. That was actually the
I
only
like
movie
Jason,
to ever
too.
scare me. Though
Huh?
that was the only movie to actually scare me. I've never been
Really?
afraid. Like that one gave me actual nightmares. It's like
Think about it. That's the one that told you don't go to sleep.
yes.
Yeah,
That was psychological warfare on
it
kids.
was. But,
I'm like a paranoid.
Sing the
You know,
song,
but-
Johnny. Sing the song. 1, 2, Freddy's coming
He
for
said,
you.
I love that movie though.
People better close your door.
Right?
Yeah, that
I
song.
mean, Freddie was pretty funny though. He had a good sense of humor.
Well, see, I watched one or two of those kinds of movies, and after that, it was like, when is this motherfucker gonna die? I mean,
Freddie, he's already
He
dead.
lives in your
I know,
dreams. He
I
never
know,
dies.
but I'm just mean these. This, I think for me, I was so invested in the hero and the heroine who are trying to survive these nightmares that it was like, when are they gonna finally banish this thing to the pits of hell or whatever they need to do with it?
Okay. Now, because Freddie is Freddie. Freddie's already dead, and even though they killed Freddie, how about this? Final Destination.
I like
Ooh, yes.
those. I was
Oh
more
my
interested
God,
in those.
those were scary.
I wasn't
They
scared,
were.
but I was
The
intrigued.
first couple. The first couple were. We actually just end up watching the fourth because I didn't know it was like 7 of them.
There's a bunch.
That's
It's
what I
a
mean.
bunch
They
of
go
them.
on
I only
forever.
remember 1, 2, and 3. Those were the only 3 I remember, and I'm like, there were 7 of these bitches. Like,
Yeah,
is
that's
that
what I
really
mean.
necessary? Like, you're dragging this out a little bit much, aren't we?
They went
Jamie
overseas.
Lee Curtis was glad to know that it was Jason, the end of the final of this is it.
It's like, yeah, right. They
You know,
always say that.
I as long as they want to, they can make a Jason movie and a Mike Myers and a Freddy. I will take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of Batman and Superman, but you give me them 3 anytime. You can even make another Chucky movie. I'll take it too. But, I'm kind of tired of Batman and Superman. But
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? I like in the 90s with Chucky and all of them. I was a kid, so I had nightmares about this shit.
Yeah, Chucky's got him a weekly television show on USA. And he's got a friend, it's like, fuck.
I loved Mike Myers in the face. Okay, but this here, I love this song, but it still makes me a little. I don't know. You hear that and you feel some kind of way. It's like you might want to go.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, I know it wasn't nothing back there, but I had to look anyway.
Good. Great. I still remember the dream I had of Freddy Krueger. Like, it was wild.
I'm sure.
I had that. And then Chucky creeped me out until Bride of Chucky. Then I liked him because by then
it was more comedic.
Came out in like 98. I was a little older, and I happened to think it was kind of funny. Then when Seed of Chucky came out, I'm like, this is hilarious. What are you talking about? This is where it needs to go.
And, but that was like a take on the Bride of Frankenstein. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, y'all, hold on. How does this make you feel? Oh God, I had to get a commercial.
Bombarded by ads.
I have that song. I love that song.
Yes.
The Exorcist.
Yes. I have that in my phone. I like it.
I was friends with Peter Blatty's daughter, J.P. Blatty. She's a photographer. But I remember reading The Exorcist before it was a movie. Ooh. And it freaked me out. And when I came to the last few pages, we had an apartment that was basement level, and it had like, the cement, the brick wall. But if you were drunk and didn't see it, things happened. And just as I was finishing the book, my girlfriend and I heard this clatter, like boom, 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 on the porch, and I just got into reading The Exorcist. It fucked me up. I couldn't sleep. Excuse me. It messed me up. I couldn't sleep.
You fine?
Yeah, it
let
really
it fly.
My nerves. It was like, oh my, because the book, the writing was so good, and then when I saw the movie, it was damn. And this
The
really
Exorcist
happened.
is a movie that scared me That movie and a movie called Race with the Devil that came
Oh
out in about
yes.
1978.
Oof.
Those that Race with the Devil, my brother hid behind it. My mother let us go to this scary movie. I don't know why. But then my brother, um, he unlocked the door and then ran the, I don't know, or I gave me the keys to take back to my mother, and she went somewhere else, so just left us at home. He went in the house and hid behind the door. So I come in and close the door, and he go boo. I screamed, peed my pants, could not move from the spot I was in. I was that terrified. Now,
Oh
Yeah.
in my defense, I was
no.
Yeah.
only about 10 years old. And I think I beat the tar out of him after I cleaned up the pee.
Well, I remember. You guys remember The Grudge?
Yes.
The Grudge. The Grudge.
So
That's
up
the one with the
with the hold on, wait, I could do it.
Was that the Japanese one? Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh,
That.
that. Oh,
So
yeah. I remember her.
up, up here, and I don't know if you guys have y'all had dollar movies? Did y'all have dollar movies in y'all states before?
We had
So
the something matinee, so you can get in.
Matinees.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, we had an actual. It wasn't just a matinee; it was an actual dollar movie. So what it
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what it would be like 3 to 6 months back in the day, like in '05 and like the oddies, after a movie had reached, been in the regular theater for like whatever amount of time. The dollar movie would buy the movie. So they would have the old ones. And me and my stepsister went to see The Grudge. So we're sitting there in this dollar movie because it was usually full of punk teenagers and everything. Now, I was one of those punk teenagers at the time. And, we would sneak condiments and everything, sneak stuff in there because even though the movie would be $1.50, like it was $1.50 for the
It was
movie.
the only thing that was
Yeah.
The concession stand, however,
It was full price.
was like $8.
Yeah. For a bucket of popcorn.
So it's like for just a hot dog. It's like no. Or like a pickle on a stick. It's like, no, we not doing that. Now the kids love pickles on a stick. So I'm like, I love it, but I'm not paying $8 for that. I'm sorry.
Right.
Even at 15, I'm not spending $8 of my parents' money for this shit either. It's not happening.
Right.
But we go in there, and there was maybe about 4 to 5 other people in the movie with us. So we're watching The Grudge, and it was creeping me out because I love horror movies and stuff, suspense, horror, sci-fi, all that. And it was creeping me out. I was enjoying it. And then there was this one part in the movie who Joxer. I don't know if y'all remember Xena, Warrior Princess back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That was my jam as a kid.
If she was built.
I had a crush on Xena and I didn't even know it yet. I didn't even peep game yet. I had no idea. But Joxer was in that movie in The Grudge. So he goes down the stairs, he sees the girl or whatever, the creepy girl. She turns around, he sees her, like her jaw is like half off. And then he goes, oh, so at that point, that very moment, I bust out laughing hysterically out in the movie theater. That tickled me so bad as a 15-year-old. I don't know why. And it was at that point I look over, at the seat across the aisle from me, and there was a guy, there was some man, I don't know who he was, just movie patron, sitting in the seat. He looked straight at me. I'm still laughing, by the way, because it still was tickling me. So I go, ha, ha, ha. I'm just, belly laughing in the theater all loud and shit. And he looks over to me and he goes, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, it's like, first off, sir, I don't know you. Second of all, I don't know if like he was scared and he wanted to seem like he was tough or something and he thought it was funny too. or he thought it was some bonding moment with the 15-year-old. I don't know what he thought. But then I start laughing even more because I'm like, why is he laughing at? Like, why is he laughing at me? Like, what? And then the way he laughed too.
Yeah.
Like, ha, 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 ha. It's like, what's going on here? So that's my crazy horror story movie experience. I just
I ain't been to the movie since
I would have had to punch him in the throat.
1997.
I've attended the movies.
I used to try to use violence.
They have movies with dinner now, and it's all movie theater food. I don't care what they're serving at any of the minis. It's dinner and a movie, and and it's all garbage. Okay, it's all overcharge you for the food.
Yes.
The cocktails are just syrup and water, and you know it's like you're paying for some shit you ain't even getting. You know, so yeah, I haven't been to see the last movie I saw, which was with Taraji P. Henson when she had a rich husband that
Oh,
what was
Acrimony?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
the time I was at a movie. It's like wow, quite an experience.
1997. That's the last time I've been to the movies.
What?
Oh my God.
Wow,
What?
I at least went
1997.
into 2000.
Jesus.
Spawn. I like to look it up when it came out. I seen it when it came out.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Spawn.
I mean, I love Spawn and everything, but looking back on that movie, it's like, all right.
That's one of them ones where it's like the graphics are good in parts, and then in other parts is like.
It's like, oh, it ain't that.
But I'm a cult favorite of that. I love that movie, so I'll watch it and watch it and watch it and
No,
watch it.
I get it. Spawn
It's on YouTube, and I watched it again, and so I fast forward to the part where
out
you
of Spawn too. I used to watch the animated one, Spawn. I
love
really liked it.
I didn't know they had an animated Spawn.
Yeah, that's how it
They had
started.
an
It started as a
animated
comic,
version of Spawn.
and then it was animated, and then they took it to film. He was he's not really a hero, I guess, but he was one of the first black ones, and so
Yeah.
therefore I liked it.
You
Even
know,
though he
one of
was
the guys we could get.
when he was Spawn was not so black, more burnt after that, but
He was quite burnt. Yes.
he was a zombie, and so I always liked that. But that 1997, that's the last time that I have been.
Man. When was the last time I've been? I went this year. I think the last movie we went to see was Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh
Not in the theater. I mean, it was all right.
I got bad
I
attention.
fell asleep, so
I can't do it. If it's not violent or scary, I'm not watching it.
Well, his was like I watched him the new Twilight Zones.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I used to watch because they would have on New Year's, they would have the old reruns. I loved that. Oh my goodness. Yes, I remember like certain ones as a kid just looking and being like, oh my God. Like the one where she had the pig face, where they all had like pig faces. And then they were trying to operate, and it was like, "Oh, you're still ugly.
Yes.
I'm sorry."
See, right? You're still the same. There's a special place for people who look like you. Trust us.
And it's like, "Oh my God, this is a cookbook."
Right, they said, "Oh yeah, How to Serve Man." That's the title of that one.
Yep, they came to Earth, and they was like, "Oh my gosh." Mm-hmm. Then the other one that I liked that I still get tickled to this day was the man where he went back in time or something like that. And then it was the end of the world, and he was real selfish. He didn't care about other people. He was a surly son of a bitch. And he finally got the chance to be alone, and he got the chance to be alone with all of his books. And I specifically remember he had glasses. And he bent down, and his glasses broke. And he just goes, "It's not fair. It's just not
Was it
fair.
Burgess
But
Meredith?
you got the premise messed up. He
What
wasn't Shirley. He wasn't.
he
His
wasn't
wife,
Shirley?
he wasn't. His wife beat him, made him, ripped his books apart, wouldn't let him read at all. And
Dang.
his boss wouldn't let him read. So every time he tried to sneak somewhere to read because that's what he loved. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he was down in the vault in the bank when the world ended, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
came up, and then he broke his glasses because he
Bro,
finally had nobody to tell him he couldn't.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
he broke his glasses. I don't know, Tanya. I completely got it messed up. Maybe because of the fact I thought it was funny. Uh
Well,
I
Rod
did.
Serling had a very dark sense of humor.
Man,
I mean,
I don't know. The kid, I just remember being a kid, and when his glasses broke, I laughed. And I laughed even harder when he said, "It's not fair. It's just not fair."
you know, the one I liked is when this woman and man had been out at a party and they both had drunk too much and they woke up in a town that they didn't recognize, and they were calling out names and trying to find help, but by the time you get to the end you hear this child's giggle,
The
you know.
dollhouse.
And her dad comes in and says, "Honey, how do you like your new playthings?" Yes. That some alien beamed them to another area. They were losing their minds.
Yep, and they kept getting on the train and going around the
Right.
town, and they kept stopping at the same spot.
And they realized
That
that
was a
the
good one.
trees, none of that was real. None of it was real. Or the
See,
or the
but that's
toys
the
that were
whole
in the
metaphor. That is the metaphor for where we are. None of this is real.
nothing.
Everything is an illusion. It is what we put our energy in that manifests into this thing. So if you're not satisfied, change your imagination, change what you're seeing, and believe it. And stuff changes. It changes.
Yes.
But it's like if you keep holding on to old stuff, it still changes, but it changes a lot slower.
Mhm.
So let go and just don't believe on the garbage. I think if so many people would just let go of all the negative and stop
Yeah.
focusing on what's wrong with life instead of focusing on
What's right?
what's right with
Was
today.
wonderful. Yeah.
Just what's right with right now.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
live in our present, if everybody could just live in the moment we were in, talk about changing the world, because then nobody would be thinking outside of themselves, and all that power would be, everybody would glow like a doggone candle.
Right. Because
Yeah.
we are a 400 plus trillion watt light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
Every cell, the first coating on each cell in our body is light.
Mm-hmm. That electric spark.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is they have us so scattered with our energy. They have our energy going everywhere. Oh, we're pissed off about this. We're dissatisfied about that. We're worried about something else over there. Everything is, I mean, it's like they've poked a million holes in us and our light just scatters through the holes. If we would stop worrying about everything that is outside of us for just a moment. Everything, I mean, we could change literally everything. Literally. And that's no cap, no bullshit.
Yeah.
If we are electric, the whole thing is them trying to mask who we are and get us to believe that we are something that we're not. They want to tell us that we don't have power. That's why they are against us. And I'm gonna keep telling all my melanated brothers and sisters that there is power in our blackness. And that's what they don't want you to realize.
And that's why it's, DeSantis only has to build a wall around Florida. It's amazing to me that you keep attempting to turn our lights out, and we can't even help it. It's who we are. It's who we are as a people.
Mm-hmm.
It's who we are. And I'm
How
not
do
gonna
you
dim
exist
my light
for?
so you feel good about your ass. For 400 years, you've told me, when Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to talk about CRT, which she knows nothing about, that's probably the only letters in the alphabet that bitch knows.
She can
You
recognize.
know, she wanted to talk about CRT being a racist study that tells a white kid his skin isn't as valuable as a black kid's.
Oh, those
What?
are words out of his mouth, aren't they?
But you know what? Maybe it isn't, okay? Maybe it isn't. You know the power of this blood that comes through our veins. You know the power. You know the power. And so many of the woke people are the ones who are telling our stories ourselves.
I can't stand that word, because what's the opposite of woke? Is sleep.
Right. What does that
It is
mean?
like, and these people are telling themselves, no, do not wake up, stay asleep.
Right.
They don't even listen to the words that are coming out of
Right.
their own mouths. This is what
Right.
astonishes me about where we are as people. That's why I keep telling people on my channel, please watch the movie Don't Look Up, because you talk about sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That
Yes.
one freaked me
And
out a
these
little bit, I
people
gotta
will
say.
refuse. Well, I mean, but the premise of the movie is one thing. So I mean, on two sides, because it's like
Mhm.
there's nothing you can do about it. So if you look up and you worry, then you're just worrying. If you don't look up, then you don't worry about nothing, and then death just falls on your head. So it's like, six in one hand, half dozen
Half
in
a
the other.
dozen in the
Which
other.
one is better? Me personally, I'd rather be aware of what's going on
Well,
because
the whole thing
I
about
can't
that movie too
sugarcoat it.
is humanity could have done something about it. That
Mm.
that was the issue too. Like you had the opportunity to do something about it, but instead of doing that, you chose to play games and to,
Mhm.
To play politics.
yes,
They played
exactly.
politics. That was
Mm-hmm.
the biggest
I
crime.
really feel that's what the coronavirus was all about.
Oh yes.
That was about. That was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fact that this man-made
okay, I
virus
stopped the
escaped the
world. Now
lab,
you're gonna acknowledge I stopped
wasn't that the
the
beginning of World
world.
War Z?
Yeah,
Wasn't the coronavirus the
it
beginning
was.
of World War Z? I mean, the
It
movie
was.
isn't exactly what happened, the beginning of World War Z, and the beginning of that Will Smith movie where he was the last dude.
I Am Legend.
I
I
am
went to
legend.
the movies to
Yeah.
see that one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Man,
Yeah.
when he killed that dog, man, I let out a tear. I was like
You
that traumatized me a little bit. But
didn't laugh. Oh my god.
no, I didn't laugh at that one, Jace. No, that one was not funny to me. But the other one, those glasses, I don't know why. Maybe it was the childishness in me. I don't know. I was 8, but I thought it was funny.
That's okay because shit.
And like he was
I
talking
do
the
that
way
shit
those
too.
people used to talk, the white folks used to talk in movies back in the day. It's not fair. It's
You're
not
right.
fair.
With all of that Broadway bravado and bigness and kind of sort of foreign, like British accent.
I just thought it was funny. That tickled me. I'm sorry.
So we going back to Rod Serling, huh?
Rod Serling had a great sense of humor. I love he and Hitchcock, and I love the cinematography because with Hitchcock movies, you always know when something is getting ready to happen because he would
The
slant the
music would
camera
change.
and
Yeah.
it'd be inky black. And he had a wicked sense of humor. Oh my goodness, I loved it.
I remember watching the original It movie back in the
Yeah.
day because it used to come on TV, and it was a two-parter. Now, the only part I really liked was the beginning when they were kids. That was the adult part, the second part was all right, but they got kind of boring to me. And then like he became this crazy looking spider in the end. And I'm like, what's going on? That doesn't look scary to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the clown, like Pennywise, the actor who plays him, Tim Curry, I believe. Excellent.
Oh,
Broadway also. Excellent. Loved it. And the fact that he just used to flame these little kids before, and you knew what he was about to do. He was about to do something bad. He's trying to make them all scared to try to eat them and stuff, but he would flame them at the same time. And he's like, "How's it going, Wheezy?" And I thought that was funny. That tickled me. And then like he was calling the other kid, he was calling him fat boy and stuff before. I'm like, man, that's just insult to injury that you just blaming these kids before this. It's just dirty.
This is so much fun.
I've never seen the original one. I seen the remake a couple days ago, actually.
Really?
For whatever reason, I got in the mood to watch a movie. Actually, I was playing movies in the background and I was doing something else. And then I was like, oh, it is on here. It's on one of Netflix. I don't know. I got all of them. It's on one of them. And so I watched it. And I don't know what to compare it to because I've never seen the original.
Yeah.
And so
and let me tell you one Halloween, not too long ago, some white guy was out with his kids and he was looking like the It Clown. And he rang my friend's doorbell. And then and it was fall, so the trees didn't have any leaves on it. It was just far enough away for them to see the clown. They said, "Nigga, we'll shoot the shit out of you." That's a good way to get shot.
Don't do practical jokes. Don't.
Right.
I don't have that kind of humor at all. Like the fastest way for me to hate you is for you to start pulling pranks. I hate you immediately.
Well, being somebody that has seen both of them, Johnny, I can say they both were good. I was satisfied. I liked them both for their separate reasons. They did a good rendition. I think it was a pretty good remake. Not bad.
It was. I was a little bit. I think the children cursing was a little overdone, but other than that,
you think so?
Yeah, I think because it's it's amusing if you do it and it means something, but if the kids just curse the whole movie, then it's not really. It doesn't have the same impact. It just looks like you're trying to do that for shock value now.
Yeah.
So it's a bit cheap to me, but like if he did it when he was scared, then I'd have found that interesting because some little kid yelling "fuck," okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing it the whole movie, it's a bit much.
Now, Johnny, you haven't been around that one kid that just thought that it was cool to curse. Therefore,
when we were kids, they thought it was cool. But when he, as an adult, and your little badass is in this movie, like if you curse when it means something as a kid, then it means something to the plot. But if you're just doing it the whole way through the movie, it just seems cheap because you're trying to be shocking because kids don't normally talk that way. And so it's like, that's enough of that. It's like, I could have done without that part, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah. I thought you didn't like scary movies, Johnny. You was in the movie.
No, I said if it's scary or violent, I'll watch it.
Oh, you will watch it.
And comedy, I like comedy, but drama and suspense, especially drama, I'm not a
I love drama and suspense and mystery.
I don't need entry because I like creature features and I like something that's hunting people and I like something that's violent like superhero movies and those types. I don't want to know who done it and all these. I'm not here for that. I'll watch Matlock if I want a who done it. Other than that,
Matlock.
I have to say I love mysteries and drama and suspense, but I have to say I really dug Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I mean, I thought he was excellent as Stark.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jace, that's a good segue into I really loved Robert Downey Jr. as Captain Osiris,
Oh
uh
yeah.
Lincoln Osiris in what was that movie? What was that hilarious movie that came out in like 2009 with Ben Stiller, and they were in the jungle, and he played a black dude. Robert Downey Jr. played a black guy. That was funny. I'm sorry. I went to the movies to see that, and I cracked up. And it's still funny because we watched it a few months ago, and I cracked up at the whole thing to this day because they
Oh,
tried
really?
to cancel him for it. Now
Oh,
they tried to retroactively. And I'm like, have you kids even seen the point of this movie? Because the point of the blackface was that he was a method actor. And at the end of the movie, it was that it was wrong. And, you know, he
Right.
was just getting too into his role. You know, I'm like, I would have preferred, because he sounded like one of my uncles or something. And I'm like, I don't know who he's been around, but he's nailing this. It was not disrespectful. And
Right.
the whole point of the movie was to learn a lesson. So I'm like, clearly the people trying to cancel him now, which is why
Because
it's
they
not,
don't
it
want,
didn't work.
yeah, because it wasn't cool for blackface.
because I mean, I guess art is in the eyes of the beholder too. Like, do you see the point of
Tropic
the film,
Thunder.
or or do you just see what's on the surface? I was just reading a article because, mind you, back in the day, Cynthia Uriva, who did Harriet, she
Mhm.
got some flack because she said something, and I didn't know what she said, so I tried to look it up, and I still don't really fully understand. But she was criticizing Black Americans basically in some
Yes,
tweets or
Yeah.
I
something
remember
like that.
that.
And so people were upset that she was playing Harriet because she's English, even though she's,
Yes.
Yeah.
African. She was born in England and all that. And so they were going for the whole debate when she was playing Harriet that she shouldn't be the one doing it
I
because
knew
she's
that.
English. Let somebody here do it. I say let somebody who looks more like they've been through something to do it. Is what I was saying because she was just a little too Hollywoodish in her way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's good for her look, but I would prefer somebody that's got a scar or something. Some been through some life. Harriet Tubman kicked ass, so
Yeah, she
she
was
didn't really have
a
time to
tough ass woman.
And
I
and
was
to
telling people, you want to do what? Turn back. I have to kill your ass. You are going
I mean, because
nowhere.
if you think about what she did,
Hmm.
like people nowadays, black people say, "Oh, I couldn't have been no slave back then." Well, you could have, because there was a whole bunch of us that were, but she was that person back then that said that,
Yeah.
and so you
mhm.
know that's a whole different kind of guts right there. And so I
And
would have preferred somebody that looked a little more embodied of that spirit. Is all I was saying.
And to add to that even further, Johnny, because I remember that whole thing when she went down. Now, supposedly, she used a African word because a African type word because a lot of the Black Brits over there are parents to immigrate. Like they didn't have the whole descendants of slavery like we do here
We
in
do.
Yeah,
America.
to England.
Yeah. So that was one of the main issues. And she said some Ghanaian word, some African word that it split in culture lines. So I forgot the actual term that she used, but it was to equate black people as like the lost ones or the lost people or like people without a home. Something to that effect.
You
So,
Yeah.
mean
you know,
diaspora?
people got upset about that,
Hmm.
and I'm like, well, I kind of can understand the point of that a little bit,
I was
I didn't get
pissed.
it. I'm
I was
like, I'm still was
but I
saying,
don't know.
what did she say? I still don't get it. I mean, I didn't care either way
Yeah,
because it ain't my movie and I didn't see it, so I don't really care. But
I didn't see it either.
I just thought somebody
I
who looked
watched
like
it.
they've been
It
through
was
something
very
should
glossy and very. I mean, yeah, it was very glossy. Um, and I remember the stink that came about because Ariva was chosen to play Harriet. It was Hollywood,
That's what
you
it
know,
looked
very
Yeah.
much so.
because it's an Oprah Tyler production, and
Mhm.
Tyler Perry, God bless him, from here to heaven because he put black people to work. I
Yes,
like
he
that.
did.
But all of his films look the same because he
He
finds
always
the
and
people
he
that
gives
look like they
black
should be in
actors who look
catalogs.
like black actors roles.
Yes,
You know what
they're
I
very polished and very pretty, which is great. But for something like this, I would have just liked some grit put in it.
mean?
Yeah.
That's all.
Need to be raw.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is one of the hugest things anybody has ever done in human history. And she's one of the most strongest people in human history. And you find one of the frailest cover girlish people to play her. I just felt like you could have done something. If this would have been something good for Monique or somebody like that if she wasn't showing her whole ass on Netflix.
Yeah,
Ah,
she was badass because what white people thought. I had this conversation with a bartender here in Georgia and in Atlanta one night, and we almost went to blows because he was talking about how George Washington loved his slaves. And they were free to go, but where were they gonna go? I said, "Motherfucker, what? What are you talking about? You act like we didn't understand the concept of freedom. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Oh
You
yeah,
can't love a slave, first of all.
oh man, again, I apologize.
no, let it
It
rip.
was just like that. I went from 0 to 1,000. Like, what are you talking about? We would rather have been a dead slave. That we knew freedom. Shit, we were free before we came here. Oh, he infuriated me.
That reminds me of the conversation that I had when I was 20 years old. I used to work at the mall when malls were a bigger thing. And even back then, it was still dying. That was a dying mall. And I think it then. So this was like around 2010. And I used to go around and I would talk to the different store owners and stuff. I wouldn't just stay in my little Macy's area. I would go into the GameStop and talk to the GameStop people and
Mhm.
go to Auntie Anne's and talk to Auntie Anne's people, and I was that person. So I went to the K's Jewelers, uh, or
Mhm.
Zales Jewelers, and I was talking to him or whatnot, and he was like, well, everybody was slaves at one point.
Oh, fuck.
Jewish people were slaves,
Then they enslaved
Irish
everybody.
people were slaves, and I said, do you understand why American slavery is different? That it was based off of color and not, and also the slavery up until that point was indentured servitude.
Mhm.
We
And
were treated like we were
capitalist
not people. That was the whole point there.
Mhm.
So, and I had to say the same thing to my other friend who she's Irish, and she was like, Irish people were treated pretty. I mean, she's really good in general about most things, but in this particular thing, everybody has blind spots, and you can always use that as an opportunity instead of flying off the handle and get mad
Mhm.
to turn it into a teachable moment. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. I'm like, well, name me an Irish person that's doing that now. Is that happening today? Is that going on today? Is that, and she was like, shut up real quick, couldn't say anything.
Mhm.
Because there's no rebuttal to that. And it's like, I acknowledge I'm not gonna disregard what anybody else has gone through. But you're not going to sit here and try to make comparisons where
Right.
there is not a comparison to be made. I'm just
Right.
not going to let that slide. And for that, and we're still cool. Like, that's one of my best friends,
You
but
know, Irish Americans they were just considered fucking gangsters. That's all it was about them. They were gangsters. We have such
Everybody got a horror story because, I
huh?
mean, if human beings are 200,000 plus years old, we still to this day don't know how to treat each other. Everybody got a horror story. I guarantee
Mhm.
every group of people.
Mhm.
And if you don't have one yet, you're going to have one
Gonna have one.
eventually, which is why it's never a you thing or a them thing. It's always a us thing. Human
Yeah.
beings learn at
Mhm.
some point. I don't care what's on the outside of here. You have to treat people like what's on the inside of here is more important. Because if tomorrow today is black and brown and gay people, that's what it is today. That's what we're and women. That's what we're persecuting today. Tomorrow is going to be redhead people or people with blue eyes. Is going to be poor people. Next is going to be people who have
Yeah.
disabilities. It's going to be
Well, it's
people,
always been poor people
who are
versus those
something.
with money.
It's just
Yeah.
going to move because
Yeah.
one group
Yeah.
doesn't like you, and next thing you know, you're the persecuted party, which is
Yeah.
why it's always a us thing, never a them thing.
Never read them
So-
thing because we are them and they are
All
us.
all the Asian people, if you see somebody black been knocked down in the street, that's your business too. If you are black and you see somebody brown knocked down in the street, that's your business too. If you are straight and you see somebody gay knocked down in the street, that's your business too. Because
Mhm.
if you let them knock them down, they're gonna do it to you eventually, and ain't nobody gonna be left
That's
to
right.
hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's always a us thing, never a them, never just a me. Gotta stand people. Human. I don't. Y'all humans is something else. I can't do it.
When y'all humans, I just don't get you.
You humans, I can't. While I
I
live
started
here,
from the niggerization when a white aligning immigrant or anybody who comes
I don't know. Is Earth supposed to be this hard?
who seem to have misunderstood. Well, you know, the media played a big part of how Black Americans are perceived around the world.
Yes.
So there are immigrants who come here who will be as who will have our skin color and insist that they and insist that they are white. So what we have been screaming, what we as a people have been screaming is that it's only a matter of time before it's going to be your turn.
Mhm.
And you'll be reminded that it's been brown, but you're not one of us, you know.
But see,
And
that's
all
the
y'all want
that's
us.
the whole-
Everybody African number one. That's where humans came from.
Mhm.
Everybody African number one. Number two, scientifically, everybody's skin is brown. Everybody. Everybody. I'm carrying from the palest of the Irish to the darkest of the African. Everybody skin
There's melanin in this system.
is a shade of yes. Well,
It's
some
brown.
people don't have any melanin. There are them that have none.
Albinos.
Yeah,
albino, because that's a condition. Everybody's skin
Condition, yeah.
is just a different shade. And then, because you go out in the sun, you don't turn orange, you turn a shade of brown.
Mhm.
Now you may look
Turn
pink,
up.
but you don't sell your little makeup that is brown. You just can't keep it like that.
Right.
That's it.
Well, melanin is within every organ of your body. It's not just your skin color. That's what makes us such a fabulous and fascinating and terrifying people. It's like that melanin that appears on our skin is in every organ we have, which is why you can skip to a tune and wiggle your shoulders while you're skipping to another tune and shake your head.
I can't do that. So
Skipping and
that's
shaking,
got
you
to
know,
be
it's like
something
that
else.
right there. That's what I'm talking about.
I can't bounce a ball and run at the same time. I definitely can't dance.
And if you ever really thought about like just nature and in nature, you do have white animals in nature, but they're not as common. And usually they succumb to their surroundings because they don't have any color. And it's harder for them to blend in. And it's harder for them. So I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
I think albinos are fascinating. They could be
I heard, you know, we're the mark of the beast. That's dark skin is the mark of the beast.
in Africa. They really do think.
So the whole world was the beast.
Because it's 666 is carbonated melanin. That's the carbon. That's the makeup of it. It's 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons.
electrons.
Six
Well, I
six
thought
six.
it was Nero's address.
But see, that's the whole thing.
So it's always been a good number. It's just
are, and then they tell you it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just it's a
They
really
say,
I
"Oh,
always
that's the
like
do.
66
oh,
because
that's the beast." Yeah, but we didn't go nowhere trying to conquer nobody. Nobody from Africa left Africa and went to Europe trying to overcome nothing.
each other. That's always been our problem.
We
Each
Yep.
were not we were not warring against everybody in Africa.
Yeah.
enough. One is too many.
We
Actually,
were
there was
That's what
not.
we need to
This
stop
is the
doing
thing,
as
there
guys.
was
just as
stuff
They,
like
people.
the
they
Period.
want
Hutus
to
and the
say that
Tutsis.
we were all warring.
No.
We were not. That continent, otherwise there would not be 3,000 different languages. If
Right.
there was constant warring, somebody would have taken over everything and everybody would have been speaking one language. That didn't
Somebody
happen.
almost did.
But that is South Africa. That
All
is
the
where they
Hutus,
got colonized.
the Hutus and the Tutsis who are at war were a peaceful people because the Hutus, let's say they were the gardeners, they had the fields and the food, and the Tutsis were the cattlemen. They have, I may have it reversed, but they had cattle and they were traders and they lived peacefully among each other until, the clear people arrived and started to get
No,
involved.
no. The whole thing is if we were warring people, the whole thing is our history has been so convoluted to tell us that we were bad and dumb and stupid. The people who lived on the continent with everything, who had everything, and
Uh-huh.
every nation has come to Africa to take what we have, to
Right.
enslave her people, and then to tell her people, oh, you guys were never anything until
Right.
we came. These same people who there's tribes that can levitate. There are tribes that can jump almost 7 feet in the freaking air. Oh,
Yeah.
defy gravity. There
Yeah. I
are
love to see
freaking
them dance.
Zambwete, they're called the Zambwete that patrol villages. They are haystacks with nothing in it, but these suckers move. They move around, they dance, they leave presents. Oh, yeah, you want to talk about? No, they want to tell us that we're nothing. They want to tell us that we came from a place that is nothing, that we are all skinny, dying Africans. We are only that because that is what we became after we allowed them onto our
Right.
continent
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
not fight back.
allowed.
If we were warring people, we would have never been conquered by them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got mad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you did.
I'm
That's
tired.
okay.
Ooh,
It's okay. Woo.
I'm
let
tired.
it rip.
But
Okay.
I just hate
Let that out.
for Africans to be. I hate the word black. Number one, because we have been conditioned to accept ourselves as a color, not as a human, as a freaking color.
I like the word black.
Are you black?
Yeah, don't call me African.
Why are you not
Not
African?
African American. You can call me
I'm
African.
not
Don't call me
I
African
guess what I'm
American.
saying is that I'm not offended by the word black
I like black.
because what I had, my experience has been, is that I know that I descended from those who were forced to come here. There's a connection, and however, I guess what my issue is that the ones that we embrace, the African brothers and sisters, you can go to Ghana now and become a citizen without a whole bunch of complicated paperwork. But my disappointment has come with how our African brothers and sisters, who some were born in Africa, many educated in England, many coming from traveling through England to get to the United States, Canada, they're not necessarily happy about us. They don't make me feel as if I'm embraced.
You want to know where, throughout my life, my mistreatment has come from? It's right there.
From Africa.
I can count on one hand how many problems I've had with white people. I need 10, 4, 5, 60, 50, 11 hands if you want to count how many
I
problems
don't know
I've
who
had
has hurt me the
with
most. But
Nigerians,
yeah.
especially.
Mm.
Now you can call me African. Don't call me African American. Don't hyphenate.
Right.
Because if you an American, I am too.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if I'm gonna
Yes.
be African, then fine. Then I'm African. But don't call me African
But
American.
don't
But
call me
I'm
both.
fine with black. Black is.
So I love the color black.
Cause I'm black, y'all, and I'm
Presence
black,
of
y'all, and I'm bliggity, bliggity, bliggity black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Well, you know, black is the presence of all the colors in the spectrum, right?
Okay.
Black.
All I am trying to say is I refuse to be reduced to a color. I am so much more than a color.
I mean, that goes without saying.
And Africa is a continent. There
Yes.
is not one African. There is not one Africa. Africa is a continent filled up with multiple different countries. So, I mean, the only thing that I can hold on to, because I refuse to hold on to the colonizer, okay, is that what the spark that initiated me came from Africa. So I refuse to take the African out of me. I refuse to not acknowledge that that
But
that
even
mother.
the name
Everybody
Africa is
else
a
has
white
a
name.
mother, as a mother continent, a mother. They say Mother Russia, they mother this, mother that, and what us black pigs, we just got Mother Dirt.
Well,
No, I don't care
look,
where.
Africa
20%
was
me
once
say I
all
came from
called
all of Africa.
Ethiopia.
Therefore, I am all of Africa, and all
I'm
of
a
those.
human. That's what I call myself. Because I feel as though all colors in all races and nationalities, that is, to me, I get it. Social climate, I get it. I walk down the street this color, so I understand what we go through in this here country. But in my consciousness and my connection, all of that is beneath me because I feel like it's all it's almost asinine. It's minute. Like why are human beings, period,
Yeah.
focused on that? It blows because I'm thinking up here like you're a different kind of being. If you believe in reincarnation, which I'm still a little in on, if you come back here, you may not look like this. Why does it matter? Is
Right.
what I don't understand human wise. And I get it because, again, I walk down the street like this. Every place I've ever lived, police. And mind you, I've never had a car in my whole life. Always get stopped by the police. Where you headed?
Mm.
I don't know, schoolhouse to sell cocaine. Do you want to come with me? Where do you think I'm going? So it's like, always. So I get it. I walk down the street and I'm this color every day. But I still think that is the goofiest, most minute thing. Why human beings can't move past it boggles my mind. Because it doesn't matter. You can be the greatest of black people, greatest of white people, greatest of Asian, greatest of whatever. Who you are as a person should matter the most.
More than anything
Because
else.
that in your divine connection, that thing is written in everybody. Now, what you choose to do with it, whether you ignore it or use it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that thing in the inside of you, that light, because your light is literally born from the sun. It gave out the atoms. It gave out all that stuff. It didn't give it out to just these people or just that. You all have a divine connection.
Yes.
And to be so fixated on little bitty things like that, I feel that they're little bitty things because again, I think more astrological, more global, I guess. It's just it boggles my mind, which is why I hate the whole conversation period. But at the same
I know
time,
you do.
I get it because I walk down the street like this. I understand. I get it. I
Here's
walk,
my
I walk down the street with an AK-47 in my hand and I get stopped anyway. I
here's
get
here's my thing. I'm I guess it's safe to say I'm the 33-year-old here. So I'm split in between both, right? So I see nothing wrong with calling myself Black in the fact of Black Americans have a unique experience. But I also like to be tied to Africa, which is why I told Tanya and I told Jace that I did an ancient like African ancestry test to trace
Mhm.
back to the particular tribes and the countries from Africa from which my mother's half of the family came from. And I found that very enriching. I feel like that's a beautiful connection. And yes, there are plenty of Africans that come over here to get the game twisted and think that yes, but there also are a lot of Africans that embrace us as well. So
Yeah.
we just have to find the people that we connect with and keep it moving no matter what, despite what color, despite whatever it is, and move forward from there. That's how.
But let me say this real quick, just for a little clarity. The Africans that come over, especially Nigerians that come over here, where did they learn their history for America from?
The media.
No, from the
Right.
colonizers. Nigeria is colonized. So they are learning from the colonizers about Black people in America. So, of
Yep.
course, they come over thinking that we have everything, we have it made, because they are not told about our actual history unless they see
Lies.
it. And this is the whole thing. If you are learning your history from the people who enslaved you, then they're taking away your CRT.
I mean, even to the point where they don't even English is the official language in
Yes.
Nigeria.
Yes.
So they've been deeply
But the thing also is that here we are as Americans, here every stitch of our history was stripped from us. Our languages. We don't know who our great grandfather is. None of us do, because they treated us like doggone cattle. And this is the problem. I think that the disconnect comes because we were a big science experiment here. And then, then when the experiment went wrong, then, okay, let's turn them all loose and then just try to kill them every day of the year. We have no protection. We're hunted like doggone, like elk. We have no protections. Out of all the people on this continent, we still have no protection as a people. And we, as the people who are unprotected, every doggone weekend marching because another Black brother has been stomped out, killed, choked out, shot, whatever. We just continue to march and rally instead of standing our Black butts up together, coming together and doing what we should have did 400 years ago. But no, we keep relegating ourselves to just being okay where we are. And that's exactly where they want us.
Complacency.
They're out there every weekend just holding signs and wearing t-shirts. Rest in peace, my brother, while we do absolutely nothing to change our situation.
Yeah. And it'll be another one a month from now.
It'll be another one tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a brother getting stomped right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't argue that.
Happy birthday, otherwise.
Thank you.
You need to go to a dark place.
Lighten it up.
Y'all started off with doggone.
Lighten it up. Whatever it is, it don't matter. Lighten it up. Lighten it up.
You all want to read on the wives of some of these insidious men in Congress?
Uh-oh.
And in the courts and everything. You want to read on their wives?
Uh-oh.
Read
on their wives.
I'll watch why you do it. You go.
Yeah, you can read about that, Jace.
It's just an idea. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what do you want to know, Jace?
Why would you marry this? What I mean?
For what reason?
What kind of woman would marry?
Why does anybody get married? Steve Love or?
There was a movie about that.
Those are two reasons.
It's not always for love.
There was a movie about that. I mean, originally marriage wasn't for love at all. It was all about assets and merging of families.
It was
But
about
a lot of
money.
people still play that game to this day.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
What can I get from you? And
I
how
mean,
can I
'cause you know,
cement my children's legacy?
Yeah.
I hate talking about people's looks because I think it's again one of them little things to where why can't we move past what people look like
Yeah.
out here? But Donald Trump has never been attractive,
Ever.
and so he has always been married though, and so you get married either for love or necessity, or he
Johnny,
needs to be with somebody pretty and they like money. So
Johnny, the lady at that one Trump rally will have to disagree with you because they plastered that on every bit of TV. There was this lady, and like she was just they put the mic in her face, and she was like, "He's so handsome."
Oh my
I
God.
was like, "Bleh."
She had cataracts in her eyes.
I mean, in the eyes of the beholder, I suppose. But
Sure. Well, she needs to get her eyes checked because
I mean, because I got 11 pairs of glasses, she can have one. She really can. Because
Right. Oh
I
no,
don't see it.
girl, you are serious.
it's like, oh man, I mean, she was swooning off. You're just so handsome, Mr. President.
I mean, even in his younger years, he was
playing
not.
this big energy. He's got a thumb. Y'all haven't read the memo. You don't have no dick. It's got P's for walnut, P's for balls.
Well,
Wow.
because he's paid. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you pay for your wives.
Well,
That
no,
don't hurt if you got the money.
but he's running out of money. And,
He
and
is.
actually, I don't know that he had it, but he blew so much of it that it's difficult to know what he has.
And that's why Melania is husband shopping as we speak.
Yeah, she don't want to do nothing. She just wants to go and be fabulous, have somebody look after Baron's ass while she goes out and suns herself on the yacht and gives a BJ.
Even she might have them already queued up because it's not like they live together anyway. So she probably already has somebody that she booed up with. She definitely not sleeping with that man. It's not happening. I don't see it. Maybe in the beginning, and then to get the kid, But now that he like looked up like a shriveled looking sack of melon
and can't hold his bowels.
I don't think she's she into that.
He's disgusting. She doesn't want him to touch her. She's gotten what she wanted. She's done. And Mama is looking for a way out.
Hilarious. Hold on.
Huh?
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Inquisitive Feminina said she'd look after Baron. She'd need the money first, though.
Yeah, she's a reptile.
I ain't babysitting.
And Baron is like 7 feet tall.
I don't know. I feel like Baron isn't gonna want nothing to do with them. I mean, that's what I'm feeling in my soul. I could be wrong, but I feel like Baron is just like, I don't like my dad anyway. I think Melania does love Baron. I think she's a good mom probably to him, and that's probably it. And I think he's gonna like want to dump his name and start over and be the black sheep, white sheep of the family.
Well, the other kids are like the children of the corn.
Well, yeah, that was with the eldest one. Baron is what a Gen Zer or whatever. Not Gen. What is he?
I'm
he's only 15 now. He's only 15. Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new generation. He's tall. He's real tall.
Because he's on the rumored anyway to be on the spectrum too.
Yeah, he's rumored to be on the so he's probably brilliant at something,
Yeah, I feel like he's different.
So he won't
feel like he's gonna be different.
He's very limited verbally.
I don't think
he's not gonna be running off nowhere to you. He ain't running nowhere. He ain't changing nothing. He gonna be living with his mama probably for the rest of his life.
That's
As
right.
long as he ain't like
Oh,
the other four, then you know maybe he'll have a chance. Maybe.
Baron strikes me as being the one that'll be like the Mendez brothers.
Oh Lord.
He just strikes me as being
Don't
like,
do the baby like that. He even give
I
him
mean,
because he might. He that's why I would say he might have a chance because the other ones
I hope so. I
were,
hope so.
I
He's
think
not
he
being
will.
abused. He's not being abused. That boy is living a rich kid's life. Barron Trump is not abused. He is not going without nothing.
he's
I
very
think there's
privileged.
a whole lot of projecting going on about how we feel he should feel. That's this boy's daddy.
Yeah,
That's
well,
his
he,
mommy
you
and his
Yeah,
know,
but
daddy.
his daddy
but
ain't
he
involved with
still,
him
I
No,
on
mean,
his
like
daddy is
that.
just
not.
because
His
No,
all
daddy
it,
is not
it
checking
doesn't
for
does
mean
him
he
not
like
don't
that.
matter.
snap. It
How
doesn't
many
mean
Don't
of
he
believe
our
don't.
it.
daddies? How many of our daddies wasn't in our life, and how many of us still have a spot for our
Oh,
daddy?
my father was
Mm-mm.
mother
Sure, and how many of us don't
years.
have a
But
soft
how
spot
you
at
did
all?
when you were his age?
Yeah,
And
but
that's
you
the
grow
thing.
out
You
of
got
it. And
y'all
I'm just gonna
projecting
say
onto a
he's
child.
gonna grow out of it.
Y'all are
He'll grow out of it.
projecting onto
I
a
might
child.
be
And I
projecting,
don't think
and I'm
I
not
don't think
claiming
he's
to know
around him long
anything.
enough. I
I'm
don't think.
saying that he
I don't
he
think he's
may
around that
be
way.
living a rich kid's life, but
Yeah.
look at what has happened to so many rich kids, like Army Hammer. I mean, who's got all
Oh,
in the world, and
Ooh,
just sometimes when you have everything, you become a bored person.
I
well,
might
The
be
only reason
projecting.
I
you
think he
know
So
would
this,
be
this is a
different is
handicapped
because
child.
he's on the spectrum. I don't
He is
think
a
that he will
handicapped child.
turn out like the Don Juniors and be addicted
Oh
to
God,
this,
I hope not.
the Erics and the that.
no.
I think he'll be different because no, he's Trump's not raising him. He didn't raise the other ones, but I think he is not in the same. He's not also being pushed to be a businessman right
Yeah.
now either because I
Well,
don't think
Trump
he'll.
refers to him as Melania's son.
That's what he is. So I think that's why he may have a little bit of a chance.
I think he does.
He'll have
I
I
a
hope
just
he
I
does.
have
I
I
hope he does. I hope he
I
does.
think he does.
Trump is poison, but I think
He
he
is.
might be okay though.
He definitely is
Yeah,
Those other
Daddy.
ones, they were supposed to be his shadows, and so that's why they
supposed to.
Well,
Yeah.
they are.
they're
But
Trump
they
criminals.
wants to hide Barron. He's probably embarrassed of him for being on the spectrum in general.
right.
So he probably gets treated differently.
Well,
I'm just saying we have to
I
also
mean, he's
factor
not
that.
You're
Trump.
right
began
there.
Trump's not a
calling him
loving
You're
person.
right
Melania's
there.
son.
You're dead on there.
That's
He
why
does
he
get
began
treated
calling him
differently.
Melania's son because he sees him as a flawed. He didn't even want to name Don Jr. Jr. Ivanka says that he didn't want to name Donald Jr. because what if he's a loser? Like I don't want nobody caring my name is a loser. Well, boo.
Well, change your own name then.
Talk
Have
about
you
a
looked in the mirror
self-fulfilling
lately?
prophecy there. Gee,
Yeah,
God,
he's a
goodness.
different kind of daddy.
All
Whew.
his kids, bless their heart. That's
Bless
all.
their
That's
heart.
all
I
I can
mean,
say.
Bless.
yeah, it couldn't have been easy for them either.
Yeah.
No, but they are adults, and when you become aware, you become responsible. So now that you
Yeah.
know what you're doing is wrong, stop doing it. Yes, they had a horrible example of what to
Poor
do.
daddy.
So they got into the business, and all they knew was how to steal and cheat. But now that you know it's wrong,
Daddy
you
went
have
to
to then
Trump
stop doing
University, Professor Donald Trump.
it.
Yeah, and try not to write your name on any of the fraudulent checks, please. And
Exactly.
thank you.
Yeah, well, hey, son, I did this deal, but I need you to sign off on. I want you to be the one that signs the check. Okay.
Oh Lord,
Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
that's barren.
that's
uh,
awesome.
man. Well, thank you guys for spending some time with me. I think
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna wrap it up now and spend a little time with the
With your
family.
honey bunny. I don't blame
No,
you.
good part. get part 2 of this night started.
I know.
Tell them happy
I
birthday
feel
to Tim.
jealous.
I was promised a package, so therefore it has to be delivered upon.
Boy.
I'm just saying. So
Thank you for inviting me to your party. I hope I wasn't too enthusiastic. I really looked forward to this. I was so looking forward to it. I got on last night.
I said, yeah. Like, oh, that's today. I'm like, no, that's tomorrow, James. It's tomorrow. And
Yeah.
Tanya freaking out over here.
Yeah, she said, oh, I almost freaked out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, no,
I
it's okay.
apologize,
Relax.
Tanya.
It's not today. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. We definitely have to do this again because I
Yeah,
love
this is
getting
fun.
together with y'all. Y'all are a ton of fun.
This was fun. There was no yeah, it was just fun. I'm so happy to have all 3 of you in my life, and I mean that. I mean, I loved Johnny for many years, so yeah, and yeah, you two.
You like who you think I am. I'm a chameleon. You
I
don't know.
know you are. I recognize Geminis. My dearest lovers were Geminis, honey. Look, there's something about them.
Well, thank everybody for stopping by. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me on my birthday. You've made it that much more special. And I appreciate all of you for coming and spending a little time with me. Thank y'all.
All of you.
Good night.